Mm, Good night, everyone. And I want to talk about the burnout again. And this is something that I will be talking about because this is something that, first of all, this affects me. And and when I start to realize this is not only something that happened to me, this is something that's happening with all of us. And some people don't see, some people don't want to see. Some corporations, I guess, they are just, you know, keep going, and this is something that it's real. Um, if we think that this can be and might be the next economical crisis that we have, is the burnout that is going on with everyone. And little by little, some people they only see when they hit the bottom, what was my case. And but this is costing like it's over $1 trillion per year. This is how much like we are not being productive anymore, and we are just keep going. And we can prevent. And this is what I want to start to talk about because I come from the wellness industry. So it's a kind of it's crazy to think about it. That coming from this industry, I went to that extent. And when we start to see the numbers, it is insane how much we are losing or we are not even being productive anymore because we keep going. And before we know, we are just in that vicious circle. So let's think about some numbers that I have here. And the numbers are so outrageous that if you think that this is not that this is only you, because we are not talking about this. And the more that I think, the more that I know that when we are doing like just this like daily life, we think that oh, no, but everyone is doing that, and that's normal when it's not normal. And this is going like it's increasing year by year. And the scar that you see in my face be way worse. It is, the point that I was less than a month ago, and then and then you need to stop. And then when I am thinking about it, I start to see more and more people in the same situation, or even worse, because this goes to anxiety. Um, whole population, like the planet, has never consumed so much medicine for anxiety. People have panic attacks, and this is it's normal. People come to you and say like, "Oh, I just had a panic attack," and then you're like, "Oh, are you medicated?" Like, and then everything starts to be acceptable when I don't think we should consider that accept. It's not even about that. It's how can we have a normal life and being able to have, everything that we want to do. Because the thing is, we are not doing everything that we want to do because we don't have time, and we are not getting what we need to get done as well. And this is something that we should think about it. So let's first I will into the wellness industry because this for me was insane. 93% of the healthcare executives believe that burnout impact negatively the performance. So 93%. So this is like if you put all the industries, so marketing and healthcare is the ones that it is like, the one that actually get the most of what's going on. And there's an explanation for that, in my opinion. Marketing and, because of AI, so what it's happening now is people are trying to catch up when it's kind of impossible, depend on. And so then you have the new generation coming, and so you have that, kind of fear that people are going to take your place, I guess. And then you start to get, you're running, trying to get something that you don't even know what it is because everything is changing so fast. And and then you have, I don't know that because this is so, when I saw that, I think that we need to know and to really start to talk about it because this is like what's going on in front of us. Um, seven. So, so this is like the impact for the burnout. That this is what what's going on, and 75% know that all the colleagues they have left healthcare due burnout. 51% say burnout could cause them to leave their position, so they're leaving and because of burnout. And 50% say that they look at positions outside healthcare. It is only in healthcare. And they say, I think that burnout has become the new norm in healthcare because of increased financial pressures over the past several years. So we are getting used to that instead talking about it like, no, this is the new normal. You have to adapt to that. So 71% say that they are concerned, but what they can do. Six, the numbers are so high that at this point, I don't know if anyone is capable to say that you are not going through any kind of burnout. And um, and the numbers it's here. Only if like the average that a worker is actually getting accomplished, it's 10%. Especially when you go to the managerial positions, like business owners, business owner in America, you do everything. We know we have to be housekeeper, you have to be a decision maker, you have to be you do everything, and you're the first one. You're always in the front line to get everything done, and you cannot complain because this is what you do. So if you want to be a business owner, that's what you do. So the number one thing that you can do it would be to really stop and to measure the burnout. And this is like it's a kind of impossible if you think about it, because we are not speaking about. How can you measure something that we don't speak about it? I don't think that's even something that we think about, because you can only measure the burnout rate if we start to think that this is a problem and that we need to address that. And when we see that, the second thing would be to start to have a more efficient work teams. Because what's happening is like we are just justifying what is going on, and instead really trying to resolve, we work more hours, we make things a kind of work, but it's not really resolving. And this is the main thing that I guess everyone is not speaking. At least I think so, because when we talk about self-care, I this is something that I talk about every day. Self-care, self-love. Let's make sure that we practice, we do, and the more that we speak about it, the more that I think we need to speak, because what I see, especially the let's put in the wellness industry, when you have the big, like the wellness centers, spas, we do have memberships. We have people that come often, but we have as well, if, you know, when it's celebrations for anniversary, this is more common. What I understand, because the fast-paced life, you have time to do this kind of things. But this is exactly when you need to do. When you don't have time to do a massage that it's known for being so crucial for, we know that this is like one of the benefits of a massage. It is to decrease your adrenaline, like your all your nervous system. So as your cortisol level goes down, you get your parasympathetic nervous system take over. So you're gonna have time to really, so you're gonna go to the calm and to the digest mode. And instead, we keep adrenaline going on, and we always want to do more. At least we try to do more. We are trying to catch up, but we are not. And then and then comes to the deadlines, because you always want to do something at that it's impossible. And I say it because I used to work in a corporate life as well, and some of the goals it's not reachable, but they have to, because the intention, we have to see like the numbers you need to grow in. And again, it's something that it's not that the numbers are not going to be reachable, but maybe you need to change like the team. And the way that corporations are doing, according to research, it is with more meetings. And then it is when things go out of control again. You have in the managerial positions up to 17 meetings a week. So the amount of hours that you spend in meetings, it is insane. And meetings is something that I abolished from my company a long time ago, because meetings is it's necessary when you're going to, you want to give award to someone, you want to praise someone for something. But if you really have to address situations, think that you always going to have people thinking different, and you can cause actually a huge, commotion, and you ended up not resolving anything, and people will be talking about the meeting over and over. When if you want to put things down, meetings are not really helpful. And this is not myself. This is like what this, um, this research are saying, and I'm just putting with what happened to myself, that I, you know, as I had everything that happened to me, and then you realize and you stop a little bit and you say like, okay, how can I reassess that? How can I have a real normal life, being able to work? How can I do? Not what can I do? Because that's a huge difference. And I'm seeing that. How you do things is what always should be, your main focus. Okay, I will have, and that's when you need really to put a little bit of habits, because you need to make sure that you have your mental health. So you do your exercise. So you have to have your schedule going on. Your weekends should be spending with people that you love, or things that you do, and not only working. Um, and everyone, especially, I have been I'm almost like 1 month out of my position officially, and no one died, nothing crazy happened because we think we cannot do it. Like you're thinking that no, because if I take my days off, this no, everything is going to be fine. You need to make sure that if you do not take that, you're not going to be able to produce. And at some point, you're just going to have a blackout. And literally, that's what happened to me. That's when I hit my face and I cut it, and I had like stitched. And it didn't get worse because I have been taking a lot of care, and and that's something that even I am doing as well. So to the healing process, not only throughout your burnout, but on yourself, like your body. Um, thank God was very mild, but that could be different, and this is going on with other people as well. And there are many ways that I have seen people doing, and one of them it is to look for a coach, like and because you do have one of the main things for to have a coach or to do something like that is that you're gonna find people that they're going through the same thing that you are, and you're gonna find the answers. So this is gonna save you time, and that's when you can really start to think, okay, what I'm gonna do next, and don't be too harsh on yourself. When I say don't be too harsh, it is we are always we have high, especially when you have high standards for things, you do not let yourself really be okay. Take your time. Don't if something didn't go through, that's fine because that's a lesson for you to go over. And a lot of this, I always exercise in my life because I always have a positive way to think about things and to do things. I never have anyone or anything that happens to me. I never think about that there was a loss or anything. I always think, okay, what can I learn and how can I do better? But I did have that workaholic thing going on, and you know what you know my business became my obsession, and I wouldn't stop doing things, especially because what I had in my mind was I I separated my life in things that I can do and things that I cannot do. That's what I used to do. What I can do, I will work, or I will put all my efforts until I get it done. And what I cannot do, I always had something that was okay. I am sorry I cannot do it, and I move on. I have to say that this it did work for for most of my life, but it does not work anymore because what happened is there's a lot of things that now I can do, and then I just don't stop. So this is when you and this is something that unless that you realize, it's you don't stop, you just keep going. And that's when I really want to take this, channel where I always talk about wellness and about amazing things, and we need to speak about this little thing that will be probably the next financial crisis that we have, because the amount of people that, first of all, they are not going to be able to function anymore in the way that they were, because it is proven, and this is something that it's year by year increasing, and the self denial it is what it's the problem here, because think that if you talk about burnout with anyone in your company, you're probably going to be fired. Especially talk about big corporations, because they, if you say something like that, that's a, that's a red flag. Your work. So then what are we going to do? That's when you have ways to do that without getting to the extent of being in the burnout. Taking your days off, making sure that you have like coach, like talking about the business, especially. It's so much, even here, you it's amazing how much information we have these days. We have more information in our hand than than the president of the United States had in the 90s, for sure. Anyone. And we should use that instead inflamming things. We should talk more. At least this is something that I do. I do not really watch news because I don't see anything positive, but I do love to watch, you know, channels that make myself, that I improve myself in things that has to do with my life. And an amazing thing about AI is that if you think that the five people that you hang out with, it is who you are, if you go through your social, whatever you name it, can be YouTube, whatever, if you're scrolling, if you, for instance, if you're watching things like this, it means that you are in the right path because you are talking like when you get exactly what you are. You want to know more to get a better, understanding about what's going on, and the algorithm gives you exactly what you are searching. So if you search more for things that it's pointless, maybe you should take a little look at you and say, okay, so this is not really where I want to go. And as you change, everything shifts as well. And and again, this is something that no one can do for you. Only you can take this decision. Because if you think you can or you cannot, you're right. So um, let's think about another number that I thought was amazing, is that, well, the healthcare leader, I know the out. So this is so crazy. So this, the sales and media, 73% of people that they interview, they consider themselves burnout. This is according to LHH, that it's an adapt group. It was, they actually did the demograph of this research. And um, in the generation X, it's so hard to keep it up. So we have the X, um, and millennial leaders, they are actually the most affected these days. So the burnout among this generation, what it's insane because they're just starting, like, in the workforce, it is 56%. And this is happening because the burden on them, it's extremely high as well. You think that if you, oh, I'm 47, and always I never think about competition. I just want to try to do my best. I swear. I try to, teach everything that I know, and I am not afraid to teach because I think you learn twice. I have a different view, but the burden the new generation is they're coming and they have to kind of prove that they are good enough. So they go and when they see everything that's going on, because they can, that they like, when I was growing up, I didn't have cell phones. We didn't have this. We had like totally different life. I'm not talking about a century ago. I'm talking about years ago. They grow up with this new mentality, especially in America, because it's easier. Like the access to information, computer, and this is something that we really need to think about it. They are like, if you are my age, probably they will be taking care of us soon. And how how are you doing? Because like this is something that, how can we have better like life, or if like, and no matter where you go, because this is every place. 56% of the generation X, it is suffering some kind of burnout, whether it's like panic attack, anxiety, pills to do whatever, and 98% of them cannot sleep 6 to 7 hours per night. And this is the number one. Um, Actually, when you go to burnout, the sleep part is the one that actually affect the most. And this is because this is and, it's not like or, it's always and. Um, because the generation, because of the shift of the priority. The baby boomers are embracing longer careers, but with a shift towards flexibility, because this is what happened. And as 56% are considering a role change within 3 years, while only 16% plan to retire. I will repeat. So 56%, they are burnout, they cannot. So this is the generation X, and only 60% of these kids, because they're kids, I can be the almost their grandpa, probably some of you, you don't even think about retirement. 16% say that they will have some kind of retirement. This is not even, you don't even, that's a totally different vibe of what used to happen, because we used to think about, okay, so then another thing is, when you talk about the health, healthy industry, that 93% it is burnout, is because longevity is here to stay. So the hours of work, it's a non-stop. And if you work in another sector as well, it's always, raising, because you have this new, every day is a new thing going on. So you need to catch up. And I cannot tell you how many hours I keep reading. And the more that I know, it seems that the less that you know, because it's always something new going on. And how can you catch up with all of this? The only way to catch up, it is thinking, and then you read, and you have to really see your life, what happened to you, because you cannot live like, thinking about anything else or anyone else. You have to get your own way to do things, and if you do not slow down, I'm not saying this to someone that, whoever knows what I'm saying, whatever I'm saying now, it feels that it fits for you, and and the most important thing that I think I would like to have listened was you, everyone is replaceable, first of all. And if you take some days off, this is not gonna, it's gonna be fine. No one is gonna die. Nothing's gonna be out of control. Things are going to happen. Then think about your life and as a human being, because we are not AI. Anytime that you text ChatGPT, he's gonna be happy answering and doing everything for you, no matter if it's 2 a.m. or if it's 5 p.m. We are not AI. And if we don't have this new mentality, we are going to be living in a society that it does not really, because we are not producing. As I said, we are losing $1 trillion a year of waste of time. And I'm not talking about how much we're spending, because all these, mental health problems and everything that's going on, this will be a burden on not only the economical crisis, but healthy. It's going to be a health issue as well, because everything that is happening, it will be soon more, diseases and more chronic diseases happening, and we're just going to be like, treating as normal because it's normal. Everything now is normal, and that's the main thing. Well, talking about good things, not that this wasn't good, but I wanna really bring, because I've never heard anyone talking like that happened. I've seen things that your own example of things that happened that was good, and I have many. But what about the burnout? What about this side? Or what we can do? And that's so much that we can do. One of them is try, you need to make sure that you have time to even do, you have your time to self-care. And the wellness industry, we appropriate the word wellness in a way that we kind of dictate what it's good or it's not good for you, for people. When is your time to decide, I want to do yoga, I want to do Pilates, or I want to do a massage. That's when you decide what you want to do. And when you do that, you're really helping your self care. I say that because many times when I go to do a yoga with a friend, and I used to see like checking on the time all the time, and that's not self care. Now I can say that because I will say like, listen, this is a, it's a punishment that you're doing because you don't want to do that, but then you're forcing yourself to do something that you don't want to do. And this is something that we can change. Because you can change. If you do not like to do yoga, don't go because this is self-care. You will be doing something that is against your will, and this will be worse because this will be that that precious time that is for you to detach yourself and to have your time. You are giving to something that you don't want to do. Don't do things that you don't want to do on yourself, on the time that you put on the side to do your self-care. If you like to go to the gym, go to the gym. If you like to walk, go to. If you like to be with your dog, you do it. Just take the time. And I think that this is maybe the most important thing. It is to see what you want to do and not what people are saying that's the good thing. Don't, that's the famous that I said, it's how you do things. What you do maybe is pointless because there's so much that you can do that if you do is already good. And then taking care of yourself too. I think that um, these days we ended up doing so much to so many people, like to everything that you think it's right. What are you doing to yourself? That's when this goes to what I did. That's how can you, um, everything that when I did my device that is then to cleanse your face, I was thinking like, how can I make this easier for really be usable for people to use? And there's so much that we can do. And the basic thing that I always say is like how to have your own skincare routine. I'm gonna go through that now because this is what helped me to get my scar the way that it is, and not only have, you know, how usually would be because of sun and everything else. But anyways, so do your routine. So do not be like a statistic where like research says that only 50% of the ladies cleans their face before going to bed, and guys only 60% actually wash their faces. So let's think about the physiology of our body. Our skin was made to protect, not to glow. And this being said, we can help using the right products. I choose cosmetics because it's a line that it's clinical and more than half a decade, and it's transformational for myself and for for the spa as well. And this is something that when this happened to me, I immediately start to do everything that I tell everyone to do. One of them it is here. Well, when I'm gonna go now through, if you hurt yourself, the first thing that you should do, first of all, if you have a wound that is deep, the way that mine was, if you see thumbnails, is the pictures there, you should you should go to the hospital, of course. But if it's not that deep, you think um, you should only do like try to cleanse with water, not even do not let anything go inside your wound because this can be very you can damage your tissues. Um, if you put like peroxide or a lot of things that I've seen, these days that people do when they first do or they first get, when they first get hurt, what they do, because this can dictate how it's going to be the healing, especially on your face. Let's think that your face, you still have expressions. Your skin of your face is not like the skin of your elbow. So you do have a thinner skin. So it's very, and you have your eyes. So it's so much that can happen. And especially not going to the sun, because what happened is when you cut yourself, first, for you to see blood, you should think that you went down to your dermis or even deeper because your epidermis, you have 5 layers that you do not have blood. So your cut went down to the dermis. And if you don't, I mean, for people that know, but if you don't know, we produce collagen and elastin on your dermis. That's why that's why scars happen because it's a new tissue that will be forming very fast. If you can control that in a way that try to be very much aware, especially if you have stitches, because you cannot have that place with water, just to heal and to be nice, the best that you can. It's your face in the end of the day. And it's not easy, because it's easy for you to get, sun and everything else that happen, especially in these days, because you have a lot of things going on. But you should have a sunscreen that you cannot live without. You should have a good cleanser without sulfate to do not, to get your lipid barrier and to really protect you. And your toner, because this is what's going to regulate the pH of your skin. And make sure that you do that you cleanse your face, basically. And this helped me so much because when I created that, I never knew that I was going to use this so much. And this is the blue LED light is the one that helps with inflammation. And the cold compress helps with inflammation as well and to constrict your blood vessels. This area, you do have a lot of blood vessels. That's why when we, if someone get, you know, hit or anything, this area you really get a big, you get bruises and everything. When you constrict your blood vessels, what you're doing is you're diminishing them. So you put it, and this is so good. And this muscle is a round muscle. I always like to make sure that this is so good, I want to keep, that we always do, you take your auricularis, apply, and you just do a round move. And another thing is, to help with blood vessels, a natural way to do is to get more vitamin K. How can you get vitamin K naturally? Everything that's leafy, like broccolis, parsley, everything that's leafy should be, it's good because this will make your blood vessels like the most thicker. And this is something that it's good even for whoever has black eye or anything. Think that blood sometimes that blood vessels can actually, get some of them some blood. That's why when the sun hits, you can really start to get this area a little bit more pigmented. And when you do that, you're helping your body. So, and this, or even kiwi is great as well. It's a fruit. So I do that, and I have to say that this helped a lot. I was even, you can see her, my doctor, she is amazing, and she is like professional. And then she saw, she's like, "What did you do?" And I'm like, "Well, I did everything that you said. But besides, I really kept doing, because when you have any kind of additional, because ice, you can get wet, and you want the stitch to be as dry as you can. That's why it's nice to put a cold compress, but not that it's going to be too icy. And I did use as well the optic crystal in cosmetics, because this is amazing, has vitamin K, spin trap, a lot of good stuff on it. I would definitely um, recommend as well. Now I have like many. The intention is not really talk about this, and have many other. I have some other videos. If you want to see one of them, that's amazing. It's to how to properly cleanse your face. What is the right order to use your skincare. Um, I have as well about how important is the massage, the benefits of massage for all of us. That this can be definitely something that will be introduced to your self-care routine that's going to be helping with your burnout. And it's a lot of food for thoughts. I will be, the more that I see, the more that I want to, talk about it, because I think that always I say that knowledge gives us freedom. So it's not about only what happened to me, but how can we see what happened and how can we prevent? And if you are going through that, you, you know, I gave you some options and take some of them. But speaking about it, I think is the most important because you can only speak about something that you are comfortable. Until you're not comfortable, either you are not thinking that that's affecting you, or you didn't even realize. Like in my case, you wait until something happened and then you realize, and then you do, and you start to like, okay, I think that this is, if it is, it's fine. The most important is you are the one that you can take this to the next level. No one else can do but yourself. Thank you, and I hope this was helpful because the intention is really to share. It's and again, I think that the more we talk, the more that we. And I wish you a great evening. Thank you.